Welcome to Data Guy, the channel dedicated to helping you unlock the power of data.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the SQL tutorial series. In this module, we're starting aggregation, one of the most important concepts in SQL for data analysis as well as data engineering. Okay, so today we'll learn the 5 essential aggregation functions. So first let's list it down. Okay, so the 5 essential aggregate functions are sum, average, min, max, and count. Okay, so we'll be using these 5 functions a lot, even in your when you start working or when you're working on your projects, you'll use these 5 functions a lot. Okay, so let's just look one by one, and first of all we'll understand what our aggregate function means. Okay, so what are aggregate function? The definition goes like this: the aggregate functions are used to summarize data. That is, instead of looking at an individual rows, they combine multiple rows into one meaningful results. Okay, so it will help you answer questions like what is the total sales, what is the average price, what is the highest value, and how many records exist. Okay, so using aggregate function you can find insights like this. Okay, now let's try to understand what this individual function means. The first is sum function. Sum function, as the name suggests, it is used to add up all the values in a numeric column. Okay, and the second one is average. Average gives you the mean value and it's perfect for understanding trends. Okay, then the third one is min. As it says in the name, it returns the smallest or the minimum value. And the fourth one is max. It returns the largest or the maximum value. And the fifth one is count. Okay, count, it is used when you want to know how many records you have. Okay, when you speak about count, there are like 3 different variations that you can use the count function. Okay, so let me just explain the difference between the 3 variations. That is count star, count 1, and count with a column name. Okay, and here is a clear and simple explanation for difference between them. Okay, count star, it basically gives you it counts every row in the table, including rows that contains null values. Okay, so like it basically counts all the rows in the table. Even if the rows has null values, it still counts that. Okay, and the second one is count 1. Counts all the rows exactly like count star, but instead of star you just put 1. 1 is just act as a constant for each row. Instead of 1 you can also use any other numerical value, just 2, 4, 7, anything, but you'll get the same results. Okay, and the third one is count with a column name. When you use count with a column name, it counts only the rows where the specified column is not null. Okay, it means that the main difference that you need to understand is when you use count star and count 1, it counts the null values. When you use count with the column name, it does not count the null values. Okay, that is the main difference that you need to understand. Okay, now let's go to our MySQL workbench and so that we can understand all these aggregate functions what I've explained. Okay, now if you see the aggregate function, we will write a query to understand to get the total quantity from the customer purchase table. We'll get the average quantity sold from the customer purchase table, and the minimum quantity, maximum quantity, and the total number of record from the customer purchase table. Okay, so the first one is, let's write select. We have to find the total quantity. So what we can do is just write sum. In that you can write the column name, that is quantity, from customer purchases. Let's click customer purchases. Now if we run this, we got it. The total quantity from the customer purchases is 2958. This is the total quantity. Okay, now let's find the average quantity sold from the customer purchases table. Okay, we're going to write the same query, but instead of sum, we will use the average. Let's write avg, and that we'll mention the column name as quantity, and let's just give an alias so that a column name, okay, as average underscore quantity from customer purchases. Okay, now when we run this, here it is, the average quantity is 2.949. okay, if you see, when we executed this query with the sum function, it actually gives the entire function, okay, sum with quantity. But at the same time, when we executed this, as in this query, we have actually added an alias, just as, and we have given a column name. Now observe this, when we run the average function, you see the column name has changed. Average quantity, the column name what we gave, it came here. Okay, we can use this alias to name the columns. Okay, so the average quantity from the customer purchases table is 2.949. okay, same way we can get the minimum quantity as well. So we'll just write select minimum quantity. We'll just put an alias min quantity from customer purchases. From customer purchases, minimum quantity is 0.02. okay, what is the maximum quantity? Select maximum quantity as max quantity from customer purchases. Maximum quantity is 8.05. okay, now with the last one, we will get the total number of records from the customer purchases table. So to find the total number of records, that including null values and non-null values, the function what we need to use is count star or count one. Okay, so we just use count star for this. Select count star as count from customer purchases. The total number of rows are 1003. okay, that is the total number of rows. Now let's understand the difference between count star, count one, and count column name. Okay, so I'll just write all the three functions in the same query so that you can so it'll be easy for you to understand. Okay, let's write it as count star just for identification, then count one as ct1, then we're going to use count with column name. Okay, we're going to use the column name as we'll use this product quantity type. So product duct quantity type as count quantity. From what is the table we're going to use? We're going to use table as product. Okay, hyphen, let's close this. Then if we run this query, you'll see You see this, the count star we have 23, count 1 we have 23, count quantity we have only 21, because the product quantity type column had two null values, and the count with the column name does not count the null values. Hence it is given as 21 entries, but the other two, count star and count 1, it counts the non-null values as well as the null values. Hence it gives the number as result as 23. Okay, so this is the difference between count star, count 1, and count with the column name. Okay, so that's an introduction to SQL aggregate function. In the next video, we'll go deeper into group by and learn how to summarize data for each category or a group. Okay, and if this video helped you, hit the like, subscribe, and comment which function you want more examples on. Okay.
If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the Data Guy channel.